Hello everyone, how are you today? It's Kathleen with Kathleen at Home, and I'm back with my week 3 report of my 5,700 decrease. So maybe you've been following me for a couple weeks here, and I've been talking about this decrease that I'm doing in my home, and maybe you're new. So let me recap. About 3 weeks ago, I was in my quiet time, and I've been, thinking I have too many things. And so I felt like I got this little nudge that how about during your 57th year, you try and decrease 5,700 items. And at the time, I thought that sounded like a big number. I still think it's a big number, but as I'm working through, I finished week 3, I'm seeing, wow, I'm probably going to be able to do this. So far, what I've been doing is either throwing away, using up, or giving away items each week. This week's category was the bottom half of the kitchen cabinets. So I started at the Hoosier, moved all the way around the kitchen cabinets, and that was my primary focus. I didn't just eliminate things from those cabinets. I had some other miscellaneous kind of things come up during the week, and I put those on my list. So earlier in the week, some of the things I gave away was, I have a good friend who maybe a month ago said, hey, does anybody happen to have a knitting machine? And at the time I didn't know I was going to have one. And so I had said no. She went and got another knitting machine. And when I was cleaning at my mom's, I found a knitting machine. My intention was to bring it home and ask Hope to teach me how to use the knitting machine. And I was gonna try that adventure alongside of her. But the day that I met up with her, I just thought, you know what? Hope, you take this knitting machine. You'll use it soon. And that'd give my mom a lot of delight. So that knitting machine went to Hope. I gave away a few items of clothing. I gave away some cloth. My daughter's going to work on a quilt, and so I was able to give her approximately 10 yards of cloth. I had a few things that I had to throw away due to neglect, and that kind of bummered me. I had brought in some really pretty butterfly wind chimes, but they had gotten all twisted up, and I had them hanging up on one of those command hook kind of things, and I hear this crash. Well, the command hook had come off the wall, and my butterfly chimes had fallen to the ground and busted beyond repair. I have previously fixed them, but this time it was just too much, and they had to go in the trash can. I had a pair of tennis shoes that I kicked off in the garage, and in the time that they were laying on the garage floor, one of the dogs chewed them, so those had to go in the trash can. I had a vase. I set something down on top of it and crunched it, so some neglect cost me a few items that I probably was not intending to throw away anytime soon, but that's the way that cookie crumbled. I did get into a drawer and was looking for some information, and I found a couple file folders full of just old information, stuff I wasn't going to use anymore. So file folders full of old stuff, about this much, in the drawer space went. So there's 5 items there. And then I started, now I'm to kind of my focus week of the kitchen cabinets. We have a liquor cabinet, and I had some, old mixers, things I see it's still sitting there because I was going to ask anybody if they wanted to try using these mixers. Like a Manhattan. I'd never had a Manhattan before. I saw a Manhattan mixer, at the store, so I thought, oh, I'll try making this. It looks like I maybe made 1 or 2, and the mixer, has been sitting in the cabinet ever since. So that went. Some old canisters, some miscellaneous wine glasses, beverage glasses, it was time for them to go. I used the same wine glasses over and over again. And so, I didn't need to have all those extra, wine glasses in there. Got rid of some really nice wine bottle stoppers, but when you put them on, they are now too tall to go in the refrigerator. So we just don't use them. Oh, that's pretty, but oh, that's not gonna fit in the refrigerator, so you bypass it. And that's one of the things that I'm really working on, the things I bypass over and over again. Brad came in and I had my big box of stuff sitting from the cabinets here, and he's like, well, why are you getting rid of all those Isagenix bottles? I said, Brad, I kept 4. There's 3 in here. We don't need that many. There's things like, I just don't use. I said, I got rid of a rice maker. He says, you're getting rid of this rice maker? Didn't you like it? I said, Brad, I just moved past it and make rice in a pan like I always have. So, he keeps looking in the boxes of what I'm getting rid of. Every once in a while, he pulls a couple things out, and that's okay. But for the most part, he's going along with it. So cleaned out some stuff from our liquor cabinet, some stuff underneath the sink. You've got those cleaning supplies that have been under there forever, and there's like this much left in the bottle. Off they went. The scrubbies that have really done their job scrubbing already, they went in the trash can. So a bunch of 10 things underneath the sink went. I have a drawer that has some miscellaneous canning supplies, several tipped over toothpicks boxes, just some, again, lids to bottles that I probably don't have the bottles anymore. So, that was a big dump. My oldest son was here. He says, I think that should count for 40, Mom. There was that much miscellaneous junk in there. So tipped it into the trash can and off we went. When I was in my Hoosier cabinet here, I got rid of measuring cups and measuring spoons that weren't complete sets. I probably still have 5 or 6 sets of measuring spoons, but when I'm baking, you're using liquid, you're using dry baking, that I don't mind having multiples of those. Some of them I have a sentimental attachment to. Brad bought me a set of measuring spoons, and he spent $20 on measuring spoons, something I'd have never bought myself. So every time I pull those out and I use them, I think, wow, he sure was generous, just because I was admiring how pretty the design on the measuring spoon was. So, I have lots of things that I'm sentimentally attached to, and I've decided this is not a big purge. Again, like I said earlier, I'm not looking to become a minimalist or anything like that. I just want to decrease the things that no longer are serving, whether they've got a practical application or I still have a heartstring attached to them. So rolling pins, talk about heartstrings. So I have a rolling pin for every one of my children, and I have those rolling pins in my bottom drawer. Well, all of my kids have sprouted wings and flown away. Now the one that's in college, he still comes back, so he'll keep his rolling pin in the drawer there. But the kids that have their own home, why not have their own rolling pin? I gave those away. A couple of them haven't claimed which one was theirs yet, so I've got those set aside to come back around and ask them about. There were some baking supplies that I just got rid of. I had some silicone, what do you call them? Cupcake pans, cupcake holders, those went. I had miscellaneous utensils, Tupperwares. I already mentioned the shaker bottle. I have 4 Fiesta 9x13 cake pans, casserole pans. When you have a family of 8 and I was doing freezer meals, that was great. Brad and I had a great time going to the Fiesta outlet and purchasing some things, but I don't need 4 big ones anymore, especially since I have smaller casserole pans that I use, for smaller dishes. So 2 of those went. One went to a daughter and one's in the thrift shop box. I had a kitchen sign that said happiness is homemade, and the rack that it sat in. I've enjoyed having it in the corner of my countertop there, but it was just kind of taking up space. So I'm ready to have a little bit more free counter space. I am enjoying, some cleared off space. And those are probably the only 2 things that anyone would really notice that I have decreased. Most of the things of the 591, I'm at 591 items that I've decreased, are things that no one's really going to notice. I was at 590 and then I remembered, oh, that's right, we had a church pew on our front porch, and we lent that to some friends, and we said, hey, if you want to keep it, keep it, and they decided to keep it. So I had to add that one to my list after I printed out my list. But anyhow, 591 items. So the pew, my little sign and rack that was sitting here are probably the only things that anyone's really going to notice so far. I have things, tucked away, put away, again, mostly neat. The junk drawers, that canning drawer, not so neat, but that's the way that cookie crumbles. Rice maker, I had 2 spiralers. I really would like to spiral vegetables and make the zucchini noodles, but I just haven't. And so I asked the kids, does anyone want them? Nobody responded, so they're in the thrift shop box. I gave away a couple pizza pans to my daughter. So my tug of war this week was making the decision that in order to keep the measuring cups or spoons, they had to be a complete set. So that was like, gosh, I have an extra 1-cup measure. I could just put that in, I have some Tupperwares that I store things in, but I decided, just to let that go. I already mentioned Brad's little bit of reluctance on a few things. That was a little tug of war. Again, I felt bad about the couple of broken items that I had this past time. And so the tug of war wasn't, that big of a deal this time. I made the decision and I moved forward. I felt pretty confident in how I was moving forward. I suppose at some point there's going to be something that I'm going to have passed on to someone or given to the thrift shop or thrown away that I might go, oh shoot, I wish I had that. But of the 591 so far, I'm feeling pretty good about the decisions I've made. So, what did you do this week? I really am curious. I hope you'll put your comments in the comments. Some of my friends, I notice, will send me an email message, or not email, a text message. Love that. Thank you guys. Some people are commenting when I, share this on my Facebook page. Love that. If you're someone I know and you want to talk to me that way, that's great. If you're someone just coming on and meeting me for the first time, leave your messages here. Leave your comments here. And friends, you can leave your comments here too. I'm not necessarily saying just text me or whatever. Also, the subscription thing gets to be a big deal, I guess. I guess that the more you have that, the more likely other people are going to see these podcasts or vlogs or whatever we're calling this today. So anyhow, I hope you're having some fun looking in your junk drawer and going, yeah, I don't need all this. Or you're choosing to make some decisions like, yeah, I've got all this miscellaneous stuff. What do I really want? What do I really need? What can I do without? So that's my encouragement to you this week. I'm not sure what my category is going to be next week. I haven't made a decision. Last week I had. So we'll see where I go. As I turn my head and I see my buffet with my china, and down below has my linens and tablecloths and everything, that would probably be a good thing with Thanksgiving coming up. So that might be a big category for next week. Until I see you again, have a great day and take care of yourself.